really what's important is not the specifics of the deal, but how I got to having the traits to know to do those deals. Alex Hormozy says this, which I think is really good, and I'm paraphrasing and kind of summarizing what he said. Your success will only be as high as what your traits can take you. Effectively, 2 deals got me to the $1 million mark. The first deal I did was an off-market storage facility, and we were sending out letters, and this lady had inherited a storage facility through a divorce that she did not want, right? This was her ex-husband's project, not hers. She wanted to sell, so we went in, we structured a deal, offered her $500,000 for the facility, but she wanted a monthly income. So instead what we did is we paid her $30,000 down on a $500,000 storage facility and then paid her every month. Now this storage facility was 20,000 square feet, so not really big enough. I wanted to look around in the market to find other deals. There was another facility about 7-8 minutes away that was about the same exact size. Reached out to the owner. They were actually preparing to sell it through a broker. So I got in touch with the broker before they took it to market and just went ahead and made them the offer of exactly what they wanted, $550,000. I went and I got an SBA loan on that deal at 10% down, so it was only $55,000 down on that deal. We had some investors come in on the deal. So we owned the 2 projects together for, $80,000 out of pocket in between the 2 down payments, raised some money from investors. I had saved up some money. I put, I think, $20,000 into those 2 deals. That was like all the money I had. I actually went out and I got a personal loan for $40,000 and ended up putting $20,000 into that and had some extra cash. But anyways, we ended up turning those deals into worth much, much more. And that money that I put in between those 2 deals turned into $230,000 worth of value. We actually ended up selling those deals because it just kind of made sense to sell them. Wish we had held on to them. But anyways, that was the first deal that I did that kind of moved the needle in terms of me getting to the $1 million. The next deal that I did was another off-market deal in Florida. You probably heard, I've got a pretty popular video on this about how I bought a $3 million deal for $0 down. It pays me $108,000 a year. There was this property owner who wanted to sell his property for $3 million. I thought it was worth 2.2, but I went to him and I said, hey, I will buy this deal from you for $3 million in 5 years. I'll give you nothing now and I'll give you $10,000 every single month, because that's exactly what he was making. The second month I went into that property, we raised the rents by $8,000. Today, that property is doing over $40,000 a month. And that deal alone has profited me over $1 million over and above the $3 million that I'd tell the property owner that it's worth. So that was the second deal, and it really probably took like 4 months to build $1 million of value in there. So those 2 deals alone put me over the $1 million mark before or while I was in my 24-year-old. But really what's important is not the specifics of the deals, but how I got to having the traits to know to do those deals. Because there's not a lot of people, not to toot my own horn, but there's not a lot of people who reach the $1 million net worth status at the age of 24. Very, very few people do it on their own, right? So I'm proud that I've accomplished that and continue to scale beyond that after I'm 24 years old, because that's really just for me, like just the beginning, right? A couple things. Number one is I worked from the time I was 19 to 24 in order to hit that first $200,000. So if you reverse on that and look back between 19 and 24 years old, in order to make $200,000, it's like it took me, 5 years in order to make $200,000, which is $40,000 a year, which doesn't sound that impressive, right? And it's really not that impressive, but it took patience, right? A lot of people want to come in and they want to make $1 million today. They want to make $1 million by next year. I want to buy 1,000 units this year. And I'm all for big, hairy, audacious goals, but you have to have the skill sets to know, because I could have very easily gone in, overpaid for deals, and put myself in a bad position. The 2 deals that I bought, I probably made 200 offers that I got laughed at, rejected at, they said no to. There's so many deals that didn't work out in order to find those 2 deals that did. So number one, having the patience, building your skills, putting in the time to honing your craft. Number 2, being okay with no. If I wasn't okay with no, then I never would have bought those deals, right? You have to be okay with no's on your journey to your first $1 million. And then number three, the biggest third principle that helped me get to that is being uncomfortable. I've been uncomfortable in so many spots in my journey. From number one, reaching out to a guy on the internet, asking if I could work for him for free, working for a complete stranger for a year for free, maybe feeling like I got taken advantage of in the sense of I was just building his net worth, helping him with deals, putting in time for free. But at the end of the day, I got the most invaluable experience in the world of actually doing. That was uncomfortable for me. The next thing is we went from doing single family houses, wholesales, flips, rental properties, moving into commercial space, going in and saying, okay, I'll offer you $3 million for a property when I didn't have any money of my own to put towards that $3 million. Or learning how to raise capital from investors for deals that I didn't have personal money to go for, but I saw an opportunity in. So there's been a lot of uncomfortableness along the way, but you have to keep chugging along the way. You know, your first $1 million is not gonna be boom, instant. I hope it is for you, but just the reality is that it wasn't for me. There was a lot of years of work, grinding, building my skill set, working on my traits, making relationships with really no payout, right? Like I lived a long time in the beginning not having a lot of money. I started this journey with $1,000 in my bank account and just sheer determination to make it work. If you want to learn more about real estate investors, you say, well, how do the mechanics, how do the ins and outs, how do I build my skills? Highly, highly recommend. You can listen to it free. You can get it on Amazon if you want the paperback, but get Skip to Flip 1. Once you're done with that, get Skip to Flip 2. That is my gift to you guys in the sense of I don't hold anything back. That's exactly how the real estate world works. So if you like this video, if you enjoyed it, do me a favor, hit that like button, subscribe to the channel, and share it with somebody else who may not yet be 24, but wants to be a millionaire by the time they're 24.